What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a recent topic that just popped up. Leonard Fournette is once again mad at EA. He's mad at Madden. Seems like he always is, either over his rating or something else or another. It's kind of funny how he's consistently always having a problem with EA Sports. Just last year we saw, I think most of us saw the big, scene he kind of caused when he found out what his Madden rating was. They first had him on camera saying this.
90. Low. Oh, I don't want to know that. It's lower than 90?
87.
Nah, G. Man, we do that. We do all that.
Then shortly after that, he went on Twitter and he was just like, take me out of the game, because the EA ratings adjusters were like, well, hey, if you think your rating should be a little bit higher, like show us some clips or whatever. Like, what do you think? It's good evidence to show that your rating should be higher than it is. And he said, like, I'm not showing you anything, just take me out of the game, so on and so forth. We've seen it happen with Leonard Fournette. Now he's back and he's mad about something else. And Leonard Fournette's one of my favorite players because I am an LSU fan, so it hurts me to have to keep talking about the man like this. But somebody had tweeted, what the F, Fournette doesn't have an X Factor or superstar ability at least. What the hell, Madden? And then Leonard Fournette saw that and he commented on it and he said, I'm saying the same thing in my head. Y'all give a lot of people some X Factors when they're not even factors in real life. Now that's some big words right there, because maybe he could be right about that. There are probably a couple people in Madden that have X Factors that probably don't need to have X Factors, but nonetheless, there's definitely some people that deserve to have it more than Leonard Fournette, I would say. Like Tyreek Hill, for example, should have an X Factor easily, but the reason he didn't have it is because he was going through that legal situation. He was, there was a chance he could get suspended. So, EA can't further promote players that have a suspension looming or something like that. Same reason Patrick Peterson doesn't have an X Factor, because he's about to be suspended for violating the substance abuse policy, right? But once they get back from that and they're in good standing, I'm pretty sure those guys are going to get X Factors. Tyreek Hill technically should already be in good standing because I believe the charges were dropped or something of that nature. So either way, there's definitely guys that deserve it more than Fournette. I think Jamal Adams deserves to be an X Factor. He's just a regular superstar. Things like that. But let's talk about Leonard Fournette. Should he be an X Factor? Now, people are going in on him in the replies. They're saying stuff like you're far from an X Factor, you can't even stay on the field, which is rough but true. Leonard Fournette, even in college, couldn't stay on the field a whole lot outside of that one really great season he had, I believe, in his sophomore year. Junior year, he didn't see the field a whole lot. Partially because of injury, but also partially because I'm sure that there was no reason for him to play knowing he was going to be a top 10 guaranteed pick, so why risk anything? First year in the league, I believe he played most of his games. He might have missed a few, not too many. Last year he missed a good bit of the season last year for sure. And when he was playing, when he was able to play, he was never 100% healthy. So he really wasn't a factor last year. Now in his rookie season, when he did play, he was a bit of a factor. He broke some long runs. He played pretty well, but like other people were saying in the replies, dude, your yards per carry suck, which they do. I know his rookie year it was 3.3 or something like that. Last year I don't believe it was much better, if it was better at all, which is really bad for an NFL running back. Now, to his credit, he saw a lot of stacked boxes because he was really the only threat on the offense. When Blake Bortles is your QB, there's not much reason to respect him. So he saw more stacked boxes than pretty much anybody his rookie year, I believe. I know Zeke saw a lot of stacked boxes as well. I want to say Fournette saw the most, but he was close either way. He was close to the top of that list. So, I mean, that's hard to go against for anybody, no matter how good you are. You need a little something to take that pressure off you. But regardless, yards per carry were really bad, and he can't stay on the field. So you can't really consider him an X Factor player, in my opinion. Like I said, I think there's people that deserve it more than him. But in terms of regular superstar abilities, I think he, along with many others, could have these. But it's kind of like a slippery slope, because you start asking yourself, well, how much is too much? Because if we just give so many players a superstar ability, then the games, the players start feeling less special, right? I think if you were to give Fournette any type of ability, it would have to be a trucking ability, which I don't believe any running back in the regular roster team has a trucking ability. I know you could get it on players in Ultimate Team and in franchise mode, but there's no player on the regular roster, to my knowledge, that has the trucking ability, which basically just allows them to break more tackles when they attempt to truck somebody. And I think that would fit Leonard Fournette to a T. That's really the only one I think I would give him that just fits his style of play. But I don't think you could give him an X factor just based on what we've seen so far in the league. Between him not being able to stay on the field and between his very low yards per carry, I mean, he is a factor. I wouldn't say he's an X factor, but he's definitely a factor. He's somebody you have to game plan for. You definitely do want to have extra guys in the box to stop him. But if you don't, he's the type of guy, like, if he doesn't have a little bit of extra help to take that weight off his shoulders, you know, he's going to struggle outside of busting those big runs. He's going to kind of struggle to average a healthy yard per carry. So there's that. But I mean, like I said, there's plenty of other guys that still don't have abilities. You know, Joe Mixon doesn't have any abilities, and I think he's a great running back. You know, a lot of people are mad that Derrick Henry doesn't have the armbar ability. Now, me personally, I don't think Derrick Henry is like the greatest running back. A lot of people think he's better than I believe he is, but he does have a really mean stiff arm. In fact, I want to say, like, his stiff arm rating is either the highest or second highest in the game. So by that logic, I don't understand how he doesn't have the armbar. Just because if you're looking, like, I know that the abilities don't go hand in hand with the ratings. Like, you can't just look and say, well, he's got a high rating in this, so he should have that ability. But logically, you would say, well, if he has, like, one of the highest stiff arm ratings in the game, in fact, higher than guys that have the armbar ability, like, certain things just feel like they have to go hand in hand. If your stiff arm rating is high, well, clearly you're good at stiff arming, so why wouldn't you have the stiff arm ability, right? Like, that just makes sense. Same thing with, like, juking and spinning. If you have, like, one of the highest jukes and spins in the game, it's like almost naturally you would think, well, shouldn't you have the ability too? Because it means if you're the best juker in the league, shouldn't you have the ability to juke, right? Like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of where the abilities, like, the gray area kind of comes in with them. Because they're not supposed to, like, go off the ratings. They're not a modifier to the ratings. They're something completely separate. So even if your rating isn't the highest in a certain thing, you could still have that ability if you've proven to be good doing that in real life. But, like, when you think of it that way, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, right? Like, certain things have to go hand in hand. But either way, yeah, Fournette, I think a trucking ability would be fine at best, but I don't think you don't want to just throw out abilities to too many players, because then the game starts to feel like the same old game we've been playing. If too many people could do the armbar, then the armbar is not special no more, right? There's only 4 people in the game right now that can do it. If you put that on another 4 people, right, now you have 8 teams with an armbar running back. It starts to get watered down. You know, same thing. Like, you know, that's why I like that Brady has so many specific abilities for him, you know, like the hot route master and the conductor and the protected ability, right? If you put that on all of the good pocket QBs, which you could honestly say, like, Drew Brees should have all those abilities as well, right? One of the least sacked QBs, he gets the ball out quick, he makes it easy on his O-line to block for him, he adjusts plays just as much as anybody. He makes multiple changes in a play, right? So conductor, protected, hot route master, that all fits what Drew Brees does, right? You could say that kind of fits a lot of what Aaron Rodgers does. Heck, even Matt Ryan does these type of things. Andrew Luck before he retired, right? Like, these guys all kind of exhibit a lot of these same things, but only Brady has them. But in a sense, it's what makes Brady so special. It's what makes using the Patriots special, because no matter how good all the QBs are, Brady for the last 10 years has consistently been the best QB. So it's nice that he has things that only he has, right? So, you know, same thing with some of the running backs. Like, some of the running backs have abilities where they get better blocking on certain run plays. And again, if you put that on, like, all of the top running backs, which you could argue that a lot of the top running backs could have all of those same abilities, it's just not as special now. When you use Gurley, you know, like, okay, when I run stretches, I'm going to be more powerful. When I run Zeke, inside zone is going to be more powerful. When I run with Melvin Gordon, pitches, tosses, and counters are going to be more powerful. So it kind of makes you tailor. Well, if you really like running stretch plays and might want to use the Rams. If you really love running inside zone runs, you're going to want to use the Cowboys more. And it just, I like that it makes that's what the abilities have done this year. While some are definitely a little overpowered, they've made the players and teams feel special. So if you start throwing around all these abilities and guys like Fournette have them, and then, you know, Chris Carson has, like, if like the top 20 running backs in the game have abilities, then, like, they start becoming less special. What's so great about the abilities is you only have maybe about 8 to 10 of them that actually have abilities. You know, there's only 2 guys that have the juking ability, or 3 technically. There's only 3 guys that have the spinning ability. There's only 4 guys that have the stiff arm ability. You know, there's only 1 guy for each of, like, the blocking abilities on runs. Like, it's special. If you start throwing them around to everybody, then, you know, it's not special. But, you know, Fournette, yeah, he could have a trucking ability. I wouldn't be mad at it. But I think he needs to prove that he could stay on the field a little bit longer. He needs to get his yards per carry up for sure. I think the only argument I can make for Fournette is because of the fact that Tariq Cohen has an ability. And Tariq Cohen, he's not an X-Factor player, but he does have the jukebox ability, which I think is one of the best abilities in the game. That super fast juke is extremely powerful to use. He has that, and I would say that, I mean, it's kind of hard because Tariq Cohen's a gadget player. Like, he definitely does make a difference for his team. When he's in the open, like when he's in the game, you have to game plan for him, right? You know, the same way back when the Saints had Darren Sproles, right? No one would look at Darren Sproles and be like, man, that's just like one of the best running backs in the league. But when he was on the field for the Saints, he was a factor. In the receiving game, in the running game, you had to watch out for him. Same way Tariq Cohen is. So I'm okay with him having that open field ability because he's good in the open field. But I would say if you're looking at a guy like Fournette that's an every down back that, you know, if he actually had a competent QB, that he would be able to actually probably have a better yards per carry. He would be more of a factor for his offense than probably Tariq Cohen would be for his. So that's kind of the only argument. The fact that they did give Tariq Cohen something, and like, you know, there are guys like a Mixon or a Fournette that still don't have anything while, you know, they are pretty, you know, big factors for their team at least. I guess that's the only other argument you can make. But let me know below. Do you think Fournette should have an ability? Do you think he should be an X factor? What players do you think are being snubbed right now? Both X factors and abilities that should have them. Let me know below. And as always, I will see you guys next time.